All right, friends, so we're going to get a 60-second ad break, and when that break is over, we'll begin our stream proper. I hope everyone's doing excellent tonight, ready for a fun night of model kit building and hanging out and conversation and good times and all of that. Got some stuff to be mad about, some stuff to be sad about, and a few things to be confused about, I think. Yeah, and of course, anime and video game talk and all that. And working on a fun Lego set. We're going to start with the oddest thing, I think, the oddest of the three. But we'll talk about that as we get going. Might be a chill evening, who knows? Letting the 60-second ad break continue so that maybe I get a few pennies, but also more importantly, so people don't see ads who are not subscribers for the first like 20 minutes of stream, which is nice. We're gonna get started in just a moment or two. I would say get ready for it, and yeah, here we go. Good evening and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and to hang out with all of you. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 Blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can prowl with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you just want to be a lurker, go ahead and lurk. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. I'm going to start a local recording, which I don't often on Saturdays due to some technical stuff, but because we dropped out of the call so much last Thursday, last stream, I'm going to do a local recording anyway, just in case I need to. Because the VODs will get all broken up if I get disconnected. So this is the local recording, which hopefully I won't have to use. Dirty is here. Welcome, Dirty. Ghost Valve is here. Hello, Ghost Valve. Basically, long story short, as short as I can make it. On Saturdays, I immediately after stream, I broadcast out something to a small group in a Discord, and I want to have my VOD up on my YouTube as quickly as possible for my patrons, my $5 and $10 patrons. So I just export the VOD from Twitch, but because I had so much trouble on Thursday, I'm going ahead and just had a backup here just in case. I have refreshed my router and refreshed my modem, and I did a full unplug of both and let them sit for a very long time before I refreshed. I had no stuttering or issues today. My test stream went fine. So knock on wood chair, that we will not have disconnect issues tonight. I did run into some streaming issues yesterday on a Discord, but hopefully it will not continue. That was frustrating. I was trying to stream out some maps for a D&D game yesterday, and that did not work out well. Tonight's agenda, we are starting a Lego set, the Lego Magical Unicorn 3-in-1. With the parts provided, we will build a unicorn, a seahorse, and of course, a peacock that kind of just looks like a duck with a weird tail. We're going to start with the weird duck, because I think that's the funniest. Aristofan's here. Hello, Aristofan. Welcome, welcome. Got a stellar crew here. But yeah, I think we're going to start with the weirdy, and build the peacock. Because I just keep looking at it, and I'm like, this seems wrong. So we'll build that. Let's go. Let me retweet my tweet. Maybe we can get a few more friends to join us. Get that going. Hitting the retweet button. All right, there we go. Repost. Yeah, sure, repost. Sure. Yeah, it's a little P-duck. Yeah. I don't think it's a duck cock. It's a peafowl. I think peafowl. Fowl cock. No. You know what? Whatever. We'll look at it and we'll make the call. But from the image provided, which you can't see on the side there, it doesn't really look like a peacock to me. I mean, it's got plumage, but it's not. The third thing in these 3-in-1s, usually there's the main one, and that's fantastic. And there's like a secondary that's like, yeah, that's pretty good. And then there's often a third one that's just kind of like, and also this. You can also make this one. It's like, I guess. So, sometimes it's just like, whatever. But this should be a nice, fun little build. This was bought off my Amazon wishlist. Thank you to DM for doing that. That was the attached the note. This was from DM. So, am I already looking hard to find a piece? I did knoll this whole bag because you just open the whole bag at once. So I got the whole bag knolled, which will make things easier because they're, divided up by color. So it should be pretty easy to put all this together. I hope you're all doing well out there on the old internet tonight, Saturday evening. Today was busy. Woke up earlier than my normal stream time, or normal wake time, I should say, because my mom was going to the airport. She's going to a family function. She went alone, and so it's me and my dad here in the house, which is totally cool. But yeah, we had to go drop her off at the airport. Did I have to go? No, but I went. It was nice to go. So we did that. And that is the oddest assortment. Look, me and just one of my parents in the house is an odd thing. Usually that's like a daytime thing, not an evening. It's just a strange thing because they often, almost exclusively, travel together. Or I go somewhere. But it's rare that only one of them goes somewhere. It's just a weird thing. So that's happening right now. Let's see, what else can I tell you about me tonight before we get into yelling about things or being excited about things or sad about things or whatever. I did a little home repair. You may be able to see behind me over here, there is a white double door there. That is my closet. And I'm sure that there are fancy closet doors out there. But traditionally, a closet door is just whatever. It was put there, and the handle is fine until it absolutely isn't. In my case, the knob just popped right off. So I originally glued it. Used wood glue, just glued it back on. That worked for a while until it fucking didn't. And then it didn't work anymore. So then I was like, okay. Then I got a longer screw. Because I was like, well, it's just screwed into the wood. That's just not going to work like that. All right, let me get a longer screw and do that. I did that, popped out. So now I have on the back of it, I have a washer. I have a even longer screw. And before I screwed it in fully, I put a bunch of wood glue in there. And then also I put wood glue all around the knob, basically sealing it to the door. And I also have a hot glue gun, but I don't think that's the right method. I think the wood glue is the right method. But what I'm saying is I have done all of the tricks instead of trying out different tricks. I have done all the tricks. The only other one I have available to me is I could get some wood putty and fill in the hole and then cover the hole with a different door handle that instead of the one hole in the center would be like offset, so it would kind of cover it and you wouldn't see it. And that's too much fucking work for this door that is otherwise fine. So it's just like, I definitely don't want to have to put something new on there and drill new holes. We don't have a drill, so I would have to borrow a drill from a neighbor. And it's just a project that I'm like, I think we're just getting too all-encompassing if I start going down that route, I should say. Because at that point, you might as well just get a better door that works on the track or put a new track in or whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to do any of that shit. I want it to be solved. Problem solved. So we'll see. Hopefully that works. And the other solution, which I don't want to do because this is not my house, is I could just take the door off. I also don't want to do that because then you would just see my closet in the shot, and that doesn't feel like a proper way to go. That doesn't feel like a solution, is just to have an open closet there. And I was like, I can take the door off and put a curtain. I'm like, none of these are good solutions. I don't want to do any of that. So we'll see. That's my home repair. I mowed yesterday, and then I just took a long nap because it really takes me out of it. All right, we got a lot of the body of our peacock done. Now it's time to work on the head, which again is where most of the me thinking this looks like a duck happens. So We'll get into that. Okay, so I got a Twitter update for y'all. Some shit had not major shit, but some posts happened. Okay. Uh, you may remember that Elon Musk was like, one of the the major reason that we don't have money and that we've lost so many ad revenue is the work of the Anti-Defamation League, and they're on the hook for this, and we're thinking of legal action. And then a lot of people were like, "Hey, that's the Anti-Defamation League." So what? Okay, if advertisers listen to them, is that malicious? Or do you have a situation on your website where advertisers are like, wow, wow, the Anti-Defamation League was like, this place is a fucking hellhole for anti-Semitism. So that happened, and you're like, well, Pat, Elon Musk bought Twitter. For the federal government basically forced him to actually do it because he had said he was going to at the price that he had said he was going to. But like, Elon Musk bought Twitter, but he's not the CEO. He named someone the CEO. So like, what's she got to say about all this? Well, don't worry, because on Friday nights, when you might imagine that some, not all of course, but some Jewish folks are not looking at their phones because of the Sabbath, she wrote this message, of course, on Twitter, using the term, X opposes anti-Semitism in all its forms. Anti-Semitism is evil, and X will always work to fight it on our platform. They'll always do that, apparently. And X is also always open to proactively working together in that fight with all groups. And then there's a hand arrow pointing down to a link to a blog, their official blog, which I might point out is blog.twitter.com, which is just fun because they're calling it X, but the blog's on Twitter. Now you're like, okay, Pat, that's cool because like that's a good statement, acknowledging the anti-Semitism is bad. It's weird to say that you always fight on the platform. Interesting and cool to say they're always open to work with groups on this fight against anti-Semitism. It's like, oh yeah, these are all good words. She got to those good words after, let me look here. 1, 2, 3 other. This is her fourth version. She posted 4 things and edited them because, of course, you can edit if you pay Twitter Blue, or sorry, X Premium. You can edit. And apparently, Linda Iaccarino did, the CEO of Twitter. She started with a very short two sentences, right? You heard how it ended. It started with just, X is committed to combating anti-Semitism, and here's what we're doing about it. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe you do want to say a little bit more about what, like in the post, in your tweet, you want to say a little bit more than just, hey, anti-Semitism, like, we're fighting it. Here's how. Here's what we're doing about it is kind of like, I don't know. And here's what we're doing about it. So the second time, she's like, okay. I got it. I know what I'm going to say here. I'm going to change it up a little bit. As you already know, X is completely committed to combating anti-Semitism in all forms. And here's what we're doing about it. That makes it sound like, 1, completely committed to combating anti-Semitism feels like you have a word count. It also feels like you're lying. And this is, I think, actually legitimately, you do want to edit this because there's some stuff in here that like doesn't fit quite right. I need some white pieces that I don't see. Oh, here it goes. Because you're saying committed to combating anti-Semitism in all forms, you're not. Like, that's a lie, because you're not, you're just a website, and you shouldn't have to worry about, honestly, like, X should not really have to worry about anti-Semitism outside of their own website. Like, like, you know, like, genuinely, I feel like, don't, we're not asking you to solve it everywhere, just on your own stupid website. So then they were like, okay, here's another revision. We're going to change this up very slightly. As you already know, X is completely committed to combating anti-Semitism in all forms. Here's what we're doing about it. They took out the and that had been in since the original statement. Finally, they got rid of the and. That was the big problem. And then, of course, they eventually led to their actual version, which is X opposes anti-Semitism in all forms. Anti-Semitism is evil, and X will always work to fight it on our platform. So they got not only grander in their feeling on anti-Semitism is, y'all, we need to make it very clear. We think it's bad. Not just that we're fighting it because we think it's bad. And then also finally came around to the idea that you're just really fighting it on your own platform. And then you got rid of the, but here's the problem, friends, since the very first post, the very first version, how will I know what you're doing about it? If you don't say, here's what we're doing about it. Instead, you just link to a blog post, which I'll admit, folks, I have not read because it's bullshit. Because the owner of the company counts and courts and literally pays out of a system he created within this company anti-Semitism. So, like, if the top of the list of things that you're doing, here's what you're going to do about it. If the top of the list isn't censure Elon Musk, then, like, you ain't going to be doing shit that will be helpful. So, I guess fuck off, Linda? I guess that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, editing tweets is a mistake. You should live with your bullshit. And your blog is still on Twitter, and that's very funny to me. I don't really have a conclusion. I just wanted to give you an update. It's been a little while since we yelled about Elon Musk and his random nonsense. Of course, also, a reminder, this is a thing that people knew about, but now we're getting the reminder again. One of the reasons that Elon wanted to be on the board of Twitter and then eventually decided to purchase Twitter is because he decided in his head that his daughter being trans and quote-unquote woke is Twitter's fault. Twitter did that to his daughter. Not that his daughter was always his daughter, and that her rejecting him and his bullshit is about him and his bullshit. No, none of that. Twitter's a woke place. And that did it. It was Twitter. That was the thing. And you know, and an alternative. This is a weird thing to say, because I'm not a dad. I'm not a parent, right? I don't have kids. Shock. But I have had family members that have been in a strained element, strained family relationships. It happens. It happens to lots of people. If you don't take responsibility, or at the very least, if you don't examine the possibility that maybe it's you, that shit's never going to get repaired. It's just not. It's a lot to ask Elon Musk to, like, consider the possibility that maybe his daughter doesn't want anything to do with him because he fucking sucks. That's a hard thing. It's real hard. Instead, his daughter just fell in with the wrong crowd of a community that Elon Musk is desperate to like him, so he bought a website, and then turns out not enough of them do. Oh no. Oh no, not enough of these people love him. Oh no. They don't find him funny. Oh no. Anyway, in other there's no good transition to this, but I have a thing to tell you about a video game. We're going to talk about the games we've been playing in the second hour, of course. Of course, in the second hour, we'll get into that. But I did feel like we should probably talk about Only Up. You might remember Only Up. You may have watched a streamer that you like play it. I didn't stream it. We also talked about it on stream when it first blew up. That was a game you could purchase on Steam that came out this summer, early this summer. If you're like, that feels like a lifetime ago. It wasn't. It was early this summer. It was like May. It suddenly became popular because it was the game Only Up. You go only up. You are platforming in first person, trying to scale this impossible platform thing. Is it a metaphor? Probably not. Was it a good game? No. Part of the reason why it did well as a streaming thing is because it's very frustrating. But some of that frustration was the idea of it, and some of that frustration was the execution. It was the very first project from a designer who goes by the name, Indie Solo Dev, all one word, capital I, Indie Solo Dev. So I've been saying a lot of things when I mention here in like the past tense, and this is a game that has only been out for a few months, and what, Pat? It's on Steam, so it should live forever. Why are you saying it's in the past tense? It got taken down off the store, but only for a day a while ago, which also was one of the flare-ups, people talking about it, because it was so filled with asset flips that it actually ended up having assets that were not meant for commercial use, but a third party had sold them. So the dev said, I didn't do this, someone else did this. But I bought them thinking that they were available, and I apologize. I took them out of the game to put the game back up. Well, no, the game is gone. If you bought Only Up, you can play Only Up. If you didn't buy Only Up, you cannot buy Only Up. It is a game that no longer exists. The developer is like, I need to stop working on this game. And supporting it. The final update is out. The dev was just like, I'm done, which is a weird move. I think the dev was just like, I don't want to think about this game anymore, because all of their quotes to PC Games N are wild. The game has kept me under a lot of stress all these months. Now, I want to put the game behind me, and yes, the game won't be available in the Steam store soon. That's what I've decided myself. Like 10,000 people at least bought the game. Well over that. Lots of people watched it. It was also, people were like, is this a fucking NFT game? And it wasn't an NFT game. But it is a game that at the very... how do I say this? There is imagery in that game that is imagery that you will find in the kind of profiles and posts of people who like and support crypto and tokens and bullshit. We don't know if that's the developer. If the developer was like, I'm going to throw in some references to my favorite bullshit about cryptocurrency, or if that was just like assets put on the store that this person then bought or got for free and unknowingly was referencing that. But the game itself was not an NFT. It was not a scam. It wasn't a good game. I don't think, but it wasn't a scam. Um, what I need now is peace of mind and healing, Indie Solo Dev said. I plan to take a pause uh, and continue my education in game design and further with new experience and knowledge to direct my energies to my next game. Kith is the name of their next project they're working on, which means friends or acquaintances, and is also the name of a popular streetwear brand. So the idea of being very loose about what the fuck you're doing and not seeming to research things is apparently not a new concept. Like, that lesson has not been learned. They have not been able to apply that lesson yet. Maybe they will in the future, but right now, not applying that. This time, I hope the project will be created by a small team. This is a challenging project on which I want to significantly improve my skills in game design. So, to me, what does this read as? This reads as this person, this game developer, did not expect their game to sell as many copies as it did. It sold probably too many copies in a seemingly broken fucking state, or not a broken state, but like not as a polished state that they would like, and they didn't want to keep working on the game, which they don't have to. You could just stop updating. You can say, like, that's the last update. It's weird to be like, and now nobody else will buy it. And I think that's to like, I assume that's to try to release yourself from responsibility if there is like bugs, if there is like anything in the game that like you just didn't realize is like game breaking. You don't have to update it anymore. You don't have to, you stop making money off of it, obviously. I don't quite understand. I guess it's just like, I'm washing my hands of this, so I'll just delist it and then, but like, that doesn't stop people who already bought it from playing it, and also it doesn't like close the review section, and it doesn't like, I think what it really does is if you're working on another game, it just means that when you make a wish list page for your next game, which I assume will happen, you will just get people being like, hey, you should put Only Up back, or I wish this was more like Only Up. And like, I just don't, maybe it's wrong to say this, I just don't think there's a way to avoid that unless you like, it's a weird problem to have. I'm sorry, I'm like kind of all over the place with this because it is, to me, just so strange. But like, it's such a weird problem, right? Like, imagine making imagine your first video game sells tens of thousands of copies. You're a one-person team, and it like big streamers are playing your game, and you like fucking did it. On the one hand, you staff up, you postpone your other plans. Reminder that Among Us had a sequel. They had moved on from Among Us. They were like, we're gonna do Among Us 2. Or no, was it Fall Guys or Among Us? It's sorry. If you know, please put it in chat. Am I thinking of Fall Guys or Among Us? There was one game that blew up at a weird time, and they were like, we are canceling work on our sequel, and we're all in on this one. It's one of the two. I think it's all Among Us. It might have been Fall Guys, but they were like, oh, we're going all in on this shit. We're like, really, it was Among Us. Thank you, Lashbrook. So with Among Us, they were like, Among Us 2 postponed. Among Us, we're doing a bunch of shit. We're changing up. We're going for it. Holy shit, it's happening. We're staffing up. We're gonna get actual like devs that's gonna be their job, and we're like, gonna bring a community manager, and then let that community manager hire some people. And we're like, we're going for it. Like, this is the thing. And the other end is, oh God, a bunch of people bought my video game. I am unprepared for this. They have expectations of me. And I guess I should just stop working on it and not sell it anymore. And that's weird. I don't know. Maybe I think it's weirder than other people, but to me, that is just capital B bonkers. That's just a weird thing that is happening. Um, I hope indie solo dev next game has a bunch of people working on it, because that is also funny to be like indie solo dev is a team of 7 people or whatever. I don't know. It's just so weird. If you tell me eventually that people like looked at the game and realized that it was like a phishing scheme, I'd be like, oh, okay, oh, good, okay. Because right now, the facts are weird to me. I kind of want it to be something odd, but yeah. Epic's chief and Fortnite lore master Donald Mustard is leaving the company. I don't have anything really deep to say about that, except his name is Donald Mustard, and I felt like I needed to say his name out loud on a stream with people watching or later checking out the VOD. Donald Mustard. Also, Donald Mustard, Fortnite lore master, was a great name and title. It's a great combination. All right, the Peacock is done. It did not take much time. We have finished 1 of 3 builds. Look at this thing. I understand the colorful plumage. I think the colorful plumage is real. I think the design of it with the white is pushing it. I think this doesn't feel like a peacock to me, and this looks like a goddamn duck. I don't know. I don't think this is a peacock. I'm looking at it, and it doesn't feel like a peacock to me. Maybe it does to you. Maybe you're like, Pat, you're bonkers. What? You're a dick. What's going on? It's definitely a peacock. Look at its plumage. Look at all its feathers. I don't know. Aristophan. You know what? Legitimately, Aristophan, good call. It does vibe a little bit more like it's not a peacock. It's like a peacock and a duck Pokemon. Yeah, it's a bird Pokemon. It's got like, it knows like nature power or whatever. It's a normal flying type that knows like nature power and helping hand for some reason. It's got Pokemon vibes more than it has it's a peacock. Anyway, I got to take a photo of it because we're going to disassemble this right now. This is definitely not the one that I would keep just hanging out. So Peacock photo has been taken. And now the fun process of disassembling this so that we can build something else with the pieces. That's what we're working on there. We'll move on to Seahorse, which, yeah, that's a Seahorse, and also a good use of our unicorn horn. We got a unicorn horn. I got a backup unicorn horn, which is nice. But yeah, we'll next will be Seahorse, but before that we have to disassemble. We got to destroy our peacock. So we'll take it down to its elements and then disassemble with our brick separator. Let's see. Other things we can talk about tonight in games, in media, and such. We talked a bit about. We've talked before about the lovely and talented Charles Martinet, who is moving on from being the voice of various Mario characters, including Mario, to being the Mario ambassador. Told my story about going to the New York Nintendo store in New York and walking past this interactive thing where Mario was talking to kids that were there, and then Mario noticed and said hello to my friend Chris, and for a split second I was like, wait, does Chris know Mario? Which is a true weird thing that my brain did, where my brain was like, well, that's Mario, and Mario knows the name of my friend Chris. That's strange. I know Chris is in the games industry, but, like, does he know Mario? And it's like, no, he fucking knows Charles Martinet. Of course, Charles Martinet was like, oh, that's Chris Kohler. I know Chris. He wrote, it's like, I'm in the book. It's like, I'm quoted in the book he wrote about Nintendo. Okay. It's like, yeah, of course. But at the time, I was like, oh, wow. Chris knows Mario. Because it's Mario. Anyway, he and Miyamoto made a video, and apparently, this whole fucking time, since Mario 64, or really Mario Teaches Typing, Mario 64 was in development longer, but Mario Teaches Typing came out before Mario 64, depending on what game system, but whatever. Charles Martinet has been the voice of Mario and has been calling Shigeru Miyamoto Papa in a Mario voice because, of course, Miyamoto-san is the father of Mario, and therefore Charles Martinet's thing was to fucking call Miyamoto Papa in a Mario voice. And when I heard that in this video, I was like, oh no, I need to sit down for a second. Because it's, one, adorable. If you don't think it's adorable, okay. I think that's fucking adorable as hell. I love the idea that this just like, oh yeah, we got a meeting, and like, oh yeah, and of course, Charles will be here, and it's like, okay, cool, and then Charles comes through, and he says hello, and he says hello, and he, he gives a big hug to, a couple people in the room. He sees Doug Bowser, and he gives the nod because he and Doug aren't super close, but they know each other. And then, in walks Miyamoto, and everyone stands up because it's fucking Miyamoto. And then you just hear Charles go, Papa! And everyone smiles because it's great. It's great. If you have not watched that video where Charles is like, hey, everybody, I'm going to do a cool thing. I'm the Mario ambassador. I don't know quite what that's going to be, but I'm going to be around, and it's going to be great. He slips into the Mario voice so fucking much in that. It does the other voices, and it's just like, oh, yeah. I have never met the man. He's that kind of voice actor. There are three kinds of voice actors, everybody. There are. You did not know this person was a voice actor. They're voice actor and a person, and they're just doing their fucking thing, and you don't know who they are, and they just fly under the radar. There are voice actors who just do their voice. You get them to do the voice because you're like, hey, we got Keith David. Keith David, would you please just be Keith David for an hour or two for us? We're going to pay you X amount of money to say these lines like Keith David would say these lines. And Keith David goes, you want the Keith David? Yes, we want the Keith David. Great. And you just do that. No problem at all. And then there are people like Charles Martinet who are just so happy to have a character and do a thing that is what they fucking do whenever they can. Sometimes if you watch an interview with somebody, right? You can tell who's like, oh, they're going to ask me to do the voice. They're going to ask me to do the voice, and I'll do the voice. And then you have people who are just like, I'm going to do the Bender voice. Oh, okay, this crowd, a little too old for Futurama. Maybe didn't watch the reruns. Okay, no problem. All right, well, I'm going to then, let's see, I'll do Jake the Dog. Okay, more nods. I said bacon, pancakes, and people nodded. They get it. Okay, no problem. Joe DiMaggio is really interesting to watch for that. Lastberg says, having it featureless white void makes it somehow more like a hostage video. A little bit. And then Lord Crashen says, 50 months, that's crazy, Lord Crashen. Listen to the Bear Cave Lego cite the moat in the chat. Thank Lord Crashen for renewing their sub. for 50 months saying, "Hey, Pat, hope things are going well and keep up the great work." Thank you very much, Lord Crashington. 50 months is phenomenal. Thank you so much for that. And Lord Crashington wants me to hit the dance button. I will hit the dance button right now, and we'll celebrate the big 5-0 dancing while I slowly remove components here. But yeah, Charles Martinet is in the category of like Joe DiMaggio, who just does fucking voices, and like, but is smart enough to vibe in the room. Like, okay, there's stuff I used to do. Just DiMaggio. Yes. John DiMaggio, not Joe DiMaggio. John DiMaggio. Yes. Matt Go. Hey, Harold, welcome. John, who does Bender and Jake and like a ton of stuff, he's an old school voice actor, and like he'll vibe in the room, but he's a guy that is just like, I do voices. Do you want to hear my voices? And it's a lot. It's a fucking lot. No, Joe has not come back to the grave. John, I say Joe sometimes. It happens. I ain't apologizing for shit. But yeah, Charles Martinet, like, this is what I'll say. This video gave me the impression that Charles Martinet never waits for you to ask for the Mario voice. You start the conversation with, Mario Sunshine was my first Mario game, and my dad bought it for me. And then he'll like say something to you about like water in the voice. I like when Charles proves he does all the Mario voices in sequence. That feels like one breath. Yes. And if you're like, honestly, me and my kid played Luigi's Mansion together, and it's like, it's their first video game, and he like does like, he starts doing the Luigi voice because you mentioned it. Like, that's Charles Martinet. Like, Charles Martinet is just like, hey, did you know that I voice Mario and then it rules? And then I'm like really happy about it. So this is what I would do. If I met Charles Martinet tomorrow, if I was just like, it happened and I was just like out there doing my thing, and someone was just like, this is Charles, he's a voice actor, and I'll be like, oh, hello, I'm very happy to meet you, and we would chat a little bit. I would deep cut. I'd go into it, and just like really go for like, honestly, like, you know what, be like, I love you in Dragon Ball, because I think that's very funny. Now, is that a current reference? Like, yeah, it's like, but here's the thing. He fucking loves playing Magenta, because Magenta is an alien Italian mobster. He's cosplayed as he went to the premiere in a wild purple suit, and people were like, hey, what the fuck is going on with Charles Martinet? And it was like, no, Charles Martinet is cosplaying as the character he voiced. He's wearing a fancy white hat for no reason, and a suit, and a loud suit, and having a fucking ball. So you damn well straight, I would be like, hey, Magenta rules. And he would be so psyched about that. Because, of course, he was wearing a magenta suit. But, yeah. It's so fucking funny looking at his, like, filmography and all that. Because he was in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, the movie in the English dub, he's in the video game. And so it's like, Mario, Luigi, Mario, Luigi, Mario, Luigi, Mario, Luigi. Magenta. It's just very funny. But yeah, I would go for that. I don't know if I would be like a deep cut guy. I don't know if I would be like, being like, I loved you in Hard Traveling. a film from 1986. Like, no, I'm not going to pretend that I loved him in that. I might say, hey, your reoccurring role in Nash Bridges, you should have been able to do more in Nash Bridges. You only had 3 episodes. That was a fun character. Because that is a thing that I have seen. I have seen him in Nash Bridges. And I think it would be very funny to be like, hey, this should have brought you back. I'm looking at his IMDb page. Don't get me wrong. He was only in 2 episodes he was in the 1994 JoJo's Bizarre Adventure dub, which is not good. The 94 one. He's just doing whatever. The first video game. So here's the thing, right? Mario 64 is the first time that he voices Mario, except for Mario Teaches Typing. But also, the very first game that he is in is Police Quest, open season. Yeah, yes, Harold. People have watched Nash Bridges. My dad. If there's a show where it's cops or adjacent to cops or crime fighting or solving or like if a doctor solves mysteries or murders, my dad has watched it. Like, I think my dad didn't watch Bones, but no, you know what? I'm wrong. He did watch Bones. Like, if there is a murder mystery, if there is solving, my dad has watched it. Diagnosis Murder, you know he watched that. He was watching reruns of Blue Bloods today. Speaking of which, he was watching Blue Bloods, and I walked into the room. This is on reruns on a channel, I don't know what. And there was an ad for the web browser DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo had an ad during television for old people. So stop using DuckDuckGo because there's something fucked up about that service. There's something fucked up about that web browser. I don't know what it is. But if they're doing national ads during propaganda for cops propaganda, no thank you. No. And you can be like, well, Pat, they don't actually pick. They have a pretty good control over when their ads air. Diagnosis Murder, yes, indeed. Yeah, you were much. I think people have tried to see where his first Mario role really is. So, look, all I know is he was in Mario Teaches Typing, like, the CD version came out in 94. It might have came out in 95, but I think it came out in 94. Propaganda seems like a term anti-climate change people should be using. Propaganda, yes. Anyway, the very first video game that Charles Martinet put a voice in is Police Quest Open Season, where he played 3 roles: Billy Bob, janitor, and prostitute. So that Police Quest is the first voiceover work in video games for Mr. Charles Martinet. And then it's just like Mario. Grossology, the science of really gross things. Mario. Clue Finders, Math Adventures. Mario. Carmen Sandiego, Great Chase Through Time. William Shakespeare and Ludwig von Beethoven. Hell yeah. 2 roles in that game. Hell yeah. Great way to go, Charles. Rising Zen, the Samurai Gunman. He plays Master Suzuki. I hope that's cool. He was a voice in Skies of Arcadia. Love that for him. And of course, Luigi's Mansion. Another Clue Finder game. You went back to Clue Finder. He's in Jet Set Radio Future, and I don't fucking remember that. I don't remember hearing Charles Martinet's voice in that game. I mean, I played a lot of Future. I just don't remember it. I do like Charles' vibe right now of the grandpa that doesn't want to go to the barber for a while. Yeah, he's just living his best life. WarioWare, of course. Mario Kart, Pac-Man Versus. He played Mario and Pac-Man Versus. That's fun. Uh, lots of Mario parties, of course. Lord of the Rings. In one of the Lord of the Rings games, The Third Age, he plays Gimli, and that's fucking cool. I like reading that and saying that out loud. Uh, he's in Virtua Quest. Because he's Mario, Charles Martinet did a voice in a DDR game because there's a DDR Nintendo game, Mario Mix. He's uncredited because they just used voice samples. He didn't record new voice samples, but he is technically in that game as, Mario and Luigi and Wario and Waluigi. That's cool as hell. He's in Kane and Lynch Dead Men. That's fun. That's just a fun true fact that he's in Kane and Lynch Dead Men. Some games I've never heard of. Ratchet and Clank Future, A Crack in Time. Charles helped get Jeff fired. Yes, Charles had something to do with getting Jeff fired. I don't remember if that was the Kane and Lynch game, but I don't care. I don't need to know if that was the Kane and Lynch game or not. Let's see. What is most recent? Magenta is the most recent game in the DLC for Dragon Ball Legends. His most recent game that was not a Mario game. He's been pretty much all Mario for the last several years. Runner 3, because he's in like the Bit Trip games as the narrator and a playable character. So he was in Runner 3. Runner 3 is the last game that he did that was not a Mario game, where he did not play Mario voices. So that's fun. Let's see. What was the one before that? Was there anything before that? I bet it was another Runner game. Yes, he was the narrator in Runner 2. So, makes sense. It makes sense. Working on our... I believe this is the base here for our Seahorse. So we're working on that. Get those things together here. We're starting our Seahorse, which does look like a seahorse, so that's good. Yeah, he's a Rocky and Bullwinkle style narrator. Yes. Oh, hey, this is weird. He's Metal Mario. So strange that he got that role. Must have known someone. And of course, also in 2011, he's a voice in Skyrim, which is just fun. It's just fucking fun that he's in a Skyrim game. I don't know. I wish Charles Martinet the best. It has been likened to a WWE Legends contract, which I think is an apt description. The WWE Legends contract, if you're familiar, is that sometimes wrestlers, need to fucking keep wrestling because they will run out of money otherwise, and their bodies are broken down, and they just need to keep fucking wrestling. Sometimes they can't stop wrestling, but other times they just need money, and they want to keep selling merch. And now, especially because of AEW being out there, WWE is like, there's some wrestlers, WWE is like, hey, we don't want you to go wrestle somewhere else. Maybe you'll get hurt, and we don't want that on our conscience, or maybe you'll sully the name that we've built. But also, we can sell merchandise through that, and you get a cut of that, and we'll pay you a good amount of money to not wrestle on the indies and hurt yourself. Or have limited appearances there and figure that out. You can do like fan conventions, or like they pay The Undertaker not to go and do like fan conventions and meetings, and he does like a one-man show that they produce for him and all this other dumb shit. They'll do that, so they get the Legends contract. That's kind of like what I think the Mario Ambassador program is. Like, hey, you're not going to do the voices anymore. You've said yourself that like it's harder and harder to do that, so you like do that in the booth. But like, we'll keep paying you, and you can just like go to some things and do like some interviews and just like we'll send you to some conventions and you can just hang out when you want to hang out on your schedule. And then also, don't do a Mario style voice in other people's video games. He did the stupid Mario Brothers show, which is a weird Nintendo sanctioned show. I mean, he had a Vine where he had little action figure friends of Mario and Luigi going on adventures, and that shit just stopped happening. They were like, don't. Those are very cute. All of a sudden, he stopped doing that. But yeah. Yeah, so right now they're like, hey, just go hang out and do whatever. Essentially, he can still be a voice actor. He can still do that work. But probably won't be in a bunch of platformers. And by being paid by Nintendo, it makes sense for him to do the thing that he probably already was doing, which is once he stops getting paid by Nintendo, he can, if he wanted to, he could say yes to doing voices that sound like Mario in other things, which I'm sure he would not want to do. Paid things, not like, hey, can you do the Mario voice for my kid's birthday or a video or whatever, which you'd be like, sure, I love doing that shit. Yeah. He's been in some weird shit with that. Like, he pushes the vibe of that. But, like, the fact that they're paying him a salary to be the Mario ambassador means he won't show up in another video game doing the Mario voice for, a version of the Mario voice for another thing. Like, he just won't. Because probably that's in his contract. And good for him. You know what? Good for you. Get that money, Charles Martinet. Get that money, keep that money. Do what you got to do. We live in a society. Get that cheddar for your talent. If one voice actor in the world gets treated well and gets paid what he's worth and technically gets paid to not do voices for other things, if only one's going to get that treatment, you could do it way worse than Charles Martinet. Obviously, everybody should be getting paid well and should be able to earn a living and all of that, of course. But, like, hell yeah, Charles. Hell yeah. You get that. You get that cheddar, Charles. Have Nintendo pay you to not be Mario anymore, basically. Somebody put that somewhere. I can't remember who wrote that, and I apologize that I don't remember who wrote that. But somebody was just like, man, Nintendo's paying people not to be voice actors. Like, yeah. So, this is the way to do it. And I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, so on the one hand, right, I don't know what else to tell people, not you. Y'all are reasonable about some things. So there are people that are just like, Charles should do the voice until he doesn't want to anymore. Well, he said he doesn't want to anymore. He says he loves being Mario, but he said it's harder and harder to do all these voices and to keep doing it. So he wants to retire someday. So this is a good time to do it. I know there are people that still have lingering anger that he wasn't the voice of Mario in the movies. In the movie, I understand that. I totally get that. The idea that they're replacing him bothers some people. I don't know how to fix that. The way we've seen it handled, which was poor handled, is I found out about this because a trailer came out and I'm not the voice of it. And that's not this case. We know that is not the case this time. That is how voice actors have it. Because, and I gotta remind y'all, Charles Martinet doesn't own Mario. Charles Martinet doesn't own his version of Mario. That voice, his own voice, is his calling card. But it's just his interpretation of a character that he is paid by a company to do. And he doesn't have say in the words he says. He can make suggestions, but he's signing a contract. He doesn't have creative liberties. He can ask to take some alternate takes and all that, and he can have some ideas, but he's not there. He's there to do a job, and he's great at that job, and he is iconic in that job. But like David Hayter was fucking sad and mad that like Kiefer Sutherland was Snake, that Snake, and it's like, yeah, yes, you know what? Yes, you found out a shitty way. You are certainly in many people's ears and eyes. You are Snake, but also they don't have to. They don't have to. They can just not do it. And you can be mad about it. You got every right to be mad about it and unhappy about it. But like, they don't need a good reason not to do it. They just don't. They just might not do it, or they have a great reason. I don't know. I think giving Charles Martinet a cushy goddamn job instead of saying, "Hey, we got a new voice actor for Mario, Charles Martinet. He rules, and that's it." Like, I don't know. This is way better than that shit. I don't know why they're waiting so long to announce the new voice. We all know it's going to be Chris. Well, I mean, Lashbrook, I know you're kidding, but some people do think. There are people who do think that the trailers for Super Mario Bros. Wonder are fake, and the voice in the trailer isn't the voice that's going to be in the game. There are people who legitimately think that. They legitimately think that Nintendo made up a voice for a trailer. They got someone else to just do the voice in the trailer so that Nintendo, the safest company in the world, can be like, actually, it was Pratt this whole time. And beyond the fact that they wouldn't waste their time doing that, they're also not going to pay Chris Pratt to do a video game voice. It'll just be a random guy from Jersey doing Jersey Town voices. It's just a guy doing Charles Martinet's interpretation. They just hired a guy to be Charles's Mario. Listen to the trailer. Watch the trailer again. It's just kind of the Mario you think in your head of who sounds like Mario. Now, if they weren't cowards, they would have him sound like Captain Lou Albano, and we'd finally fucking get a goddamn Mario video game where Mario has his real goddamn voice, which is Captain Lou Albano. Get Dan Soder, decent enough comedian and very good wrestling voice impressionist to do his Captain Lou Albano. His Captain Lou is very good. I'm curious who will get the game first to spoil who the voice actor is. I have no idea. What if the new voice actor pronounces Mario and vindicates Bacalar for being wrong all this time? Here's the thing. We're all wrong. We've always been wrong. Mario is... Jeff's right. It's not Mario. It's Mario. Culturally, from where he is, in the Jersey, New York region, it's Mario. Jeff's not wrong. He's not been pronouncing it wrong. Super Mario is weird and not right, and it's okay. It's okay that he's not wrong. But he isn't. I don't know. The thing is, it's just going to be somebody. It's just going to be, I was about to say it's going to be some guy. It's just going to be some guy. Here's the real thing, right? It'll just be some guy who's like, I'm going to fucking be Mario. As long as they want me to. And they're going to pay me better than any voice acting job I've had. And I won't have to be... The guy who's doing it doesn't have to be the next Charles Martinet. And that rules. Because Charles Martinet is going to be Charles Martinet for this. So the new Mario just has to be the new Mario. If someone tells you their name and you pronounce it wrong because you think that's right, you're wrong. Okay. Lashbrook, yes. But also, Charles is wrong? Like, Japan, Nintendo is wrong? Because Captain Lou Albano is right. Because Captain Lou says in Mario. Uh, yeah, I mean, look, also it's not going to be Nolan North because Nintendo's not going to want to pay Nolan North money. Nintendo's not going to pay Nolan North to be Mario. Very few voice actors command a fucking paycheck, a capital P paycheck. Very few voice actors command a capital P paycheck. Nolan North is one of them. My assumption is it will be someone unknown, and you'll go, "Who's that?" Because it doesn't matter who it is. It's Mario. We have to take a pause for the cause. I did not think we would talk for almost 20 minutes about Mario. Slash Charles Martinet. Hey, Ed Boon, yeah, the best job Ed Boon will have all year. We'll be doing some Mario voices. We got to talk about ways you can support the channel. Hi, we're not talking about Charles Martinet anymore or Mario anymore. We're moving on. If you are currently a subscriber to the Build Bear Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through cash money. It's September, and you can save money by being a subscriber. If you want to become a subscriber, you can get a discount on the 1, 3, and 6 month plan. So consider that. Jump into September if you wanted to. You could gift a sub to somebody in the community. Gift subs will be cheaper at the end of the month. Right now, they're the normal price. But you could join Firestar Man and Aristofan on the gift sub leaderboard. Bits and coins are always appreciated, like Flesh Wife Marie and Puppet Jared and Harold, who gave some bits and some cheered, which is very kind of y'all. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here, because you get cool emotes, you don't see ads, and you're already here on Twitch. And you probably subscribe to somebody. So you could also do that for me, or gift a sub, or whatever you want to do. There are other ways to support what I do here, and I'm going to run through those pretty quickly, so we can talk about some video games and anime after that. I got a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBaer. There's a $1, $3, $5, $10 tier. There are different rewards for the different tiers. Consider joining my Patreon if you are so inclined. I would love to have you on the Patreon. I have an Amazon... No, I'll talk about that in a minute. Sorry. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBaer. If you want to subscribe to that, it's $2 a month. You get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So you could join me over on the YouTube. Those are monthly ways to support me. Some people don't want to do that. What about a one-time donation, Pat? You could do that. Yeah. Why not? Through PayPal or Stream Elements or Coffee. Everything I make through direct donations like those there. Through my YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out. Through Patreon and through Twitch. All goes into a fund. I take money out of that fund and I buy model kits. I have a backlog of kits. But here's the thing. This Lego set that I'm currently working on, we're working on the Seahorse right now. This Lego set was bought off my Amazon wish list. So it jumped the queue and became the next thing that I built. And then also I made a dedicated video for my YouTube channel, because jumping the queue is the least I can do for someone that actually went out of their way to buy something for me to build. Let's look at the Amazon wish list right now. I've got inexpensive Lego sets. I have a Lego Technic motorcycle here. I've never built a Lego Technic kit on stream. If you want me to do something new, you could do that. I've got some model kits, some Lego sets, some knockoff Lego. The Back to Future, Return to Future, I should say, DeLorean kit still there, Prime shipping. the knockoff Batmobile, the Bat sports car, and then the RX-7 Initial D car, which I think is licensed because they actually say what it is. So maybe they do have the license for that. I don't know. But I've got model kits, Lego sets, inexpensive kits, expensive kits, kits with free shipping, kits without free shipping, all kinds of different things. You buy something there, it comes in the mail. I'll build it on stream. I will shoot the video, as I said, about the thing that you bought. And there's some gear at the bottom because it's nice having options for gear. But yeah, I kind of want to build these weird things. I want to build these weird knockoff Legos. I want to build model kits, all kinds of things. So if you see something there you'd love to see me build on stream and do it soon, you could buy it and then I'll do it. Obviously optional. You don't have to worry about that. I have a throne wish list. I have to update that. It's been a little while. I'll go through. There's some stuff that's not on my Amazon list and some gear. It's nice to have an alternative to Amazon. People have said they wanted an alternative to Amazon, and then no one has ever bought anything on Throne for me. But other people I know have gotten stuff through Throne, and it works well. So consider that an endorsement. Then the most convoluted way to support me. More people have gone to USA Gundam Store, created an account on USA Gundam Store, bought a gift card to USA Gundam Store, sent me a DM on Twitter or a whisper on Twitch with that gift card code, that have used Throne.com, alternative to Amazon, a wish list that is easy to use. More people have done the most convoluted way to support me possible, which is USA Gundam Store. I just find that very funny. If you want to support me and not spend a dime, I have a Discord. You can jump into my Discord and hang out there. I post build photos. People post stuff they're working on. Occasionally people post things they think I would just like to see, and they're right. Okay, I have a new Pat Bear's Anime Club that's coming up on Monday. If you missed my previous Pat Bear's Anime Club, I talked about the first 5 episodes of The Fire Hunter, an anime that came out earlier this year that people recommended I should check out because I had missed it. In my I'd done a video that was like, hey, have you, here's some stuff you might have skipped. And people were like, oh, you should include The Fire Hunter on that list. I was like, well, I didn't watch it. So I watched the first 5 episodes of 10, and then I gave you my thoughts on it. I can tell you now, if you haven't watched the video or you're not planning to watch the video, I didn't finish it. Harold just cheered 476. Cheer. Thank you so much, Harold. Cha-ching. Thank you very much for that. Harold has now overtaken Fleshwife and Puppet Jared to be at the top of the cheer list. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you, Harold. It's very, very nice of you to do that. But yeah, I didn't love The Fire Hunter. I think it's a great idea. I might read The Fire Hunter. I'm waiting for the novels to come out. Because I didn't love the adaptation, but I bet the source material is great. And then Baerly Rehearsed is an ongoing video series where every week I write a new character piece, which I then record after practicing it several times. The most recent Baerly Rehearsed is the return of a character who tells it like it is. Oh, that's right. It's Randy. And Randy's back on his fucking soapbox, everybody. So that's Randy Soapbox 3. I really enjoy jumping in as Randy because that's just a silly, fun character that I like doing. I like doing Randy because he tells it like it is and thinks he's going to get canceled for his out there thoughts. But really, he's just either weird or just right. I don't know. I like that. I like that presentation. That is the thing that makes me laugh. So I have done it and will continue to do that nonsense joke. All right. I'm going to drink some water. We are going to dramatically transition back to the overhead. We are going to continue working on the Seahorse. And I am going to talk to you about some anime that I've been watching right now. All right. Let's talk about Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence, which is on Crunchyroll. This is a story about a girl who is, we don't know a lot about her past, but she's currently working as a saintess. There are saints saintesses. They're in hiding most of the time. Try not to let too exposed. People treat them like they're goddesses and worship them, and it's a bummer because they should treat them like humans. And it sometimes has gone wrong and been sad. Um, Lawrence and Cecilia are not a couple, but they are clearly very into one another and probably should be a couple at some point. And right now they have been traveling. They went to the big city for some meetings and such. Giselbert is a guy that we met, and he seemed like he was a piece of shit, but turns out he was just being weird. He's not that shitty. He is the older brother of Hazelita, who we know is she's like the friend. She's one of the friends. Apparently, Giselbert, who is the older brother, he has been burning marriage invitations that have been sent, or marriage offers that have been set, because he's an overprotective brother, but not in a like gross anime way, and just like their parents are gone. It's just the two of them. Like he's kind of acting like a father, like a inappropriate, but like from a caring perspective, father figure. And Giselbert asked Lawrence and Cecilia to help him carry the letters because, like, fine, I'm trying to burn these, but we should actually have her look at them. And then there's a whole thing, like, so their backstory is when they were kids, they were the only people that kind of treated a saintess well, and actually treated like a person. Frederica passed away because she did not receive medical treatment, because some people don't think that saintesses need medical treatment because they are, better off than humans are, than regular old mortals, which is not the case. They still need, they have divinity, but they still need, like doctor's visits. Giselbert mentions divine protection, and Lawrence has never heard of it. We know that it's saintesses wishing for things while thinking of people, and it has limits. We know that Lawrence, even though I've never heard of that, he's under Cecilia's divine protection, and sometimes it's so strong that it actually gives him a headache, which is like weird. That is just a thing we already know about, but he doesn't know about it. There are a lot of other saintesses around. Cecilia hasn't met any of them, though. And there's such a thing as a great saintess, great lady saint, who kind of is actually stronger than everybody else. But we have not met that character. That character is not in the story, as far as we know. Let's see. Giselbert is trying to find out if there are other saints around and if they're being treated well. That's kind of like his mission. We got a big old info dump about this dude over the last couple episodes. But we're finally, now that everyone's going to go hang out, there's a party, and now we get to like girls that knew Lawrence growing up are like, so what's up? Are y'all dating? What's going on? We get some stuff. And like, there's a lot of girl talk, and Cecilia's just like, I just wish he kind of like knew. They also don't know she's a saintess, but like, he's like, yeah, we live together, and like, he's promised he's going to start calling you by my first name. But he's still weird about that. And they're like, oh, we want that to happen. So we get a little girl talk there. And then Hazeletta and Abel, who are probably going to end up together, are like, hey, we're not going to head back to you when you guys leave. And then they're like, you should move here. But they have to be in the village, so they can't do that. And then like, hey, Hazeletta, you should tell your brother that you don't want to stay here, that you want to come with us, and you should come, to where we're going. Let's see. And he's like, yeah, but you have to like, I'm going to give you a challenge, like a test that you have to pass before I'll let you, which is an odd thing. Happy September. Yay, 6-month sub. Silver Streak subscriber tier 1. That's 28 months. Thank you so much. Silver Streak, appreciate that very much. It's September, everybody. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego Site the Moat and thank Silver Streak. Appreciate that very, very much. It is September, and you can save money on a subscription for many people, including me. So this episode was just like fine. Basically, Lawrence is like, hey, Hazelita, like, Cecilia's finally met a girl that she can, like, talk to that doesn't treat her like a weirdo or like a savior. It would be great if she was around for that, which I think is nice. And that's, again, Lawrence looking out for Cecilia. Basically, Abel and Cecilia are like, we're going to be able to visit more, but we're not going to go back with you. And I forgot that Eric was there. Eric is the young boy that Celia is tutoring. And I kind of forgot he was even in this story. Not much with the relationship between the two characters. You know, the kind of the thing you're here for. But we did get some good interactions between those characters. Silver Streak says, and for the folks that are waffling on if you aren't going to renew yet, you can get in on the September discount by extending your sub to multi-month in the Manage Your Sub button. If you want to support Pat for longer but save money. Yes. So yeah, if you wanted to turn your 1 month into 3 month and save some money, or 6 month and save some money, you could do that. And I've mentioned this on Thursday. I'm not going to harp too much on it, but yeah, you save money. I don't lose money. This is Team Tactics is paying Amazon. Team Tactics is covering like Amazon's portion. So I still make the money I would have no matter what. It's literally just you save some money. It's fine. Again, also, all of this is optional. You get cool emotes. You don't see ads. That's very nice. But all this is optional. You don't have to do it. I always say this. Even though I always say it, it's still true. You being here is the best part. You being here, hanging out, enjoying the stream, having it on while you do other things, have it on in the background, have it on while you're building kits or whatever, or you're playing a video game and also just listening to me talk about anime, or whatever I'm into at the time. All that stuff is gravy, and I'm very happy about it. You being here, while I build and hanging out is the thing that I'm very happy about. And if you want to be a subscriber, you are helping me continue to do this, because then I can buy model kits and such, and continue to have a backlog of things to build, which is great. But yeah, mostly just it's nice that you're here. I enjoy it. Okay, so Undead Murder Farce. Reminder, Undead Murder Farce is the characters. This arc is not the werewolf arc. What's happening to these young girls? What's going on with these werewolves? The werewolf arc is certainly not as explosive as or bombastic as Eric the Phantom of the Opera and Lupin the First, Lupin, are going to steal a diamond, and Moriarty showed up with Frankenstein, the original vampire that predates Dracula in fiction, Aleister Crowley, and Jack the Ripper, who is a chimera man, and also Sherlock Holmes is there. That shit, the second big arc story is certainly wilder than what we're doing here. This one's certainly a smaller story, but this whole village murder mystery is interesting. So Aya are a immortal woman whose body was stolen by Moriarty, and she's a head in a birdcage. Her martial arts knowing maid, and Suguru, a guy who at any time could fully become a demon and lose all sense of self, and right now is just a partial demon that has most of his faculties. They're tracking down Moriarty and solving mysteries. They know that Moriarty wanted to find these werewolves, so they also were investigating what's going on. But they found a village where that the werewolves are near, and like girls keep showing up dead, and it may or may not be related to werewolves, or it may be related to the people in town. Um, so they're digging up information about these about what's going on here. They question the mayor and the main suspects, including Alma, who's a young lady. Just a coincidence, indeed. Um, okay, so two people that came in that attack our protagonist, but this is a mistake. They didn't mean to. There are two characters that we met in. When did we meet them? Oh, we met them very briefly. They're part of Royce Insurance. So we met them very briefly in the beginning of the series, or the last arc. Their names are Alice Rapidshot and Kyle Chaintail. Neither of these are historical or fictional characters they're fictional characters. They're not from fiction. They're not like borrowed fictional characters. These are original characters as far as I can tell. So they have arrived. And there's a whole thing where there's a fight, and then they realize, actually, we're on the same side. It's okay. And they basically call a truce because they're also investigating this werewolf incident. Now, before I get into the fun stuff about this episode, I have to tell you that Kyle sucks, because Kyle is a queer-coded black man, and that's cool. It's cool to have someone who seems to be queer in the cast. Cool to have a person of color in the cast. Are they a weird fucking stereotype? Well, their lips are very red, is what I will say to that. Big and red, and very effeminate. When I say queer-coded, I mean a big dude, effeminate voice. It does not vibe great. Kyle, look, do I want Kyle to be killed by a werewolf? No. Do I want Kyle to not be in the next episode? Yes. This is the first thing in this series that I was like, no thank you, anime. I like the vibes. I don't like this vibe. Also, I finished this Seahorse. It's very cute. I like its horn. I like its tail. I like its weird stand here. We got to do that. I like this Seahorse. The Seahorse is good. Anyway, hey, it really feels like... Oh, also, a thing that happened in the first episode is Aya and Suguru are partners because they want to find Moriarty. Suguru... I actually found Suguru saying, "Hey, if you kill me and consume me, you will be cured." And he's like, "Okay, I mean, I will, but why don't we actually get revenge first?" So to keep him from losing his insanity and completely becoming a monster, the solution is that they have to share bodily fluids via kissing. And we haven't seen it. It's apparently been happening this whole time. We saw it in episode 1, and then we saw it in this episode. And it was very fun that it's back, because Shizuku, the maid, fucking clearly hates it. He hates their awkward, weird makeout. It's very funny. You've had some of that in BG3. There you go. It's very funny. I'd forgotten all about it, and I was like, oh yeah, that is a weird thing that they were doing in this series. Huh. Anyway, problem solved, everybody, because Alma's like, actually, I'm the golden werewolf that's killing all these people. I'm the painter in town. I'm the stranger. I'm the werewolf. And they're like, Aya's like, I usually just solve the murder. Usually people don't just confess kind of out of nowhere because a lot of other people seem way more guilty than her. So Aya's like, kind of like, I'm not sure. It's too convenient. Also, a giant golden werewolf does show up, but we don't watch Aya transform into her. But something happens, and then a big werewolf is there. And Suguru, who's usually pretty fucking good at handling this bullshit, Lupin gave him a run for his money, and this werewolf is fucking wrecking his shit and also wrecking Shizuka's shit. And in fact, a yeet happens in this episode. They're near a waterfall, at the top of a waterfall, and the werewolf yeets the bird cage with Aya's head in it. And then Shizuka has to go and, like, toss the bird cage away. And then Shizuka, like, gets caught in the river and sent down the waterfall. And that's how the episode ends. Now, at the bottom of the waterfall is supposedly where the werewolves are. And they actually don't seem to be a problem. But, like, yeah, I'm actually surprised that we got to episode, I think, 10 before a yeeting happens of the bird cage. So we hope that Shizuka is okay. And like Moriarty hasn't shown up yet. The whole reason why a diamond was being stolen and all those thieves was it basically led them to this village, and it is something to do with these werewolves, and more than meets the eye about that and all that. And we'll find out more about that in the future. I cannot recommend enough Undead Murder Farce. It is the best show this season, in my opinion. It is clever and well-paced and weird as hell and very cool. Like, as I said, we had the first episode, they're figuring things out. Then they go and start solving mysteries. And the second episode, maybe the third episode, but I think it's the second episode, just starts with, after Dracula's death, vampires started integrating into society. And it's just like, wait, after we're not going to meet Dracula? We don't know how Dracula died. Dracula's dead. And now vampires are, like, around. And that's so weird. It's like such a weird, like, fun series. It's very good. I highly recommend it. It's on Crunchyroll. If you see it written as Undead Girl Murder Farce, that's because that's what the source material is called Undead Girl Murder Farce. Crunchyroll has adapted the name as Undead Murder Farce. I don't know why they took girl out of the name. They did, but that's just true. Trevor, Alucard, and Sophia get real pissed off and deal with them, obviously. Yes, totally possible, but I'm telling you, we don't know. We just know that Dracula's dead. Also, as I said, Frankenstein is built off the notes of Dr. Victor Frankenstein. There is Carmilla, who is from Irish novella that predates Bram Stoker's Dracula as the first vampire in fiction. Recorded vampire, what we think of as vampires in fiction. And Aleister Crowley's just there. Historical, real person Aleister Crowley, occultist and researcher. Aleister Crowley is just in this fucking anime. And also Jack the Ripper is a chimera monster, and that's what Moriarty put together a bunch of people to get monster parts to put in Jack the Ripper to make him even better. And again, reminder of how fucking fun this is. There are vampires and werewolves and demons and an immortal woman who is currently just a head. But Aleister Crowley doesn't actually know magic. He has great reflexes and he's faking it. He doesn't actually know magic. And that's so fucking weirdly specific and almost petty in a way. It's like, oh, this guy who loved the occult, it would be very funny if we put him in this thing and he's not an occult. He's just a fan of the occult. and a fake. It's so fucking good that they do that. God. That's 80% of the way to an anime version of the PS2 game Shadow Hearts. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody in the source material was just like, but Aleister Crowley isn't a magician, right? No, he's just a guy. It's very good. And again, Lupin, fan of the opera, like, the guy that owned the diamond that all these people were trying to steal from is the main character in Around the World in 80 Days. Atlas? I forget his name. And I apologize. I had to look that up because I was like, I think this is a historical fiction name. Not historical fiction. I think this is a fiction name, and I had to look it up, and it was that dude. So yeah, full of like cool literary references that you don't need. You don't need that. Yes, Fogg. Phineas Fogg. Yes, Fogg is... Fogg owns the house and the diamond. Phileas? Okay, Phileas, yeah. Fogg is the guy that hired Sherlock Holmes and Watson and Royal Insurance and also... Royce Insurance, I should say, and also hired Aya and Suguru to protect from the master thief, Lupin. It was good. It was fucking good. It was a good time. So, Silver Streak, it's if the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen were all the actual fuckers that they really were, but not presented like, you know what I mean? Like, because they're all the villains. Like, the Extraordinary Gentlemen are all the villains in the piece, and the hero is a Japanese guy who's turning into a demon and an immortal woman who's just a head in a birdcage right now. But yeah, all the Extraordinary Gentlemen parts are like the villains. It's very fun. Anyway, we've got a little time left in the stream, and I'm not going to get spoilery about it, but I want to hear from you. What are you playing right now? What are you watching? What's going on? What do you got going on? Obviously, I'm still playing Hearthstone. I have found a deck to play in Twist, which is like, so they have added new cards to Twist, and they only allow it's like Wild but limited Wild, to borrow a term from Magic the Gathering. It's like it's interesting. I found a deck that is a Jade rogue deck that also is a Cthulhu rogue deck, and it's not good, but it's fun. Yeah, what are you playing? What are you watching? I want to hear from you. The other thing is, I put 4 hours into Skyrim today. I think I played for 4 hours today. I recorded Pat Bear's Anime Club and then played Skyrim until dinner, and then played Skyrim until the stream started tonight. And it was real good. I had a good time with Skyrim. So, I am using console commands. I do not care. I have a house that I paid off. I paid off my house immediately. I got a house I paid off. I got my room at the lodge. I got my own house. I'm about to meet my parents because my parents are alive in the game. And I have a good time. I am doing very little of the main storyline. I am enjoying my time not doing that. Just having fun, doing whatever. Because money is no object. I'm thinking about buying a better ship than the ship I have and making that my main ship, because why not? But I'm just having a sweet-ass time, not giving too much of a fuck about anything and just enjoying it. I am finally starting to get used to just fast traveling everywhere because you can't really do anything else. And I almost am okay with the map not being a real thing. It still sucks, but I'm almost used to it. But mostly it's just, look, I am Fallout New Vegas is one of my favorite games of all time. I liked Fallout 4. I found my rhythm with Fallout 4. I enjoyed my time in Fallout 4. If you have Game Pass, check it out. I think it is a fun game. I think Starfield is fun. I don't know if it's full price fun for you if you're a PlayStation 5 person. But $10 to get Game Pass for a month is totally worth it to check out this big game and have fun with it. Again, I'm playing on PC. I'm using console commands to cheat. I got a real good weapon. I got a real good weapon that takes care of pirates, low-end space pirates. They go down real fast to my very good assault rifle that I got that has very good ammo. They go down real quick, and they don't see me coming because I have stealth. They do, and I crawl over. They do not see me, and then I pop them in the head with my assault rifle with a good scope on it, and they die. They die real quick, and it's very fun. And if they don't die real quick, that's okay because I'm immortal. All right, we'll start a little bit of the unicorn. We did 2 of these 3. Obviously, on Monday's stream, we're gonna finish this unicorn. We'll get started with it a little bit here. We'll finish the unicorn on Monday, and then we'll start a model kit. $10 patrons, if you're here, keep an eye out because there will be a poll up for you tomorrow about what I should do on Monday once I'm done with this. So, because it'll be, I don't know what it'll be, but it'll something that we'll decide on Monday. Because this is not going to take 2 hours to build, even if this is the most complicated of these. All right, so now I'm going to scroll back and see what y'all have been saying as I build this Lego. I want to read because a bunch of you had things to say, which is awesome. Ghost Valve baked some cookies and more BG3. Haha, nice. Hope those cookies turned out great. That's awesome. Getting a little bacon in. Silver Street got back from PAX. Fuck yeah, I'm glad you went to PAX. I hope you had a great time. You had so many game demos to check out. Outside of that, continuing through BG3 and Starfield, I also learned about this awesome TTRPG that's mostly free called Emberwind, designed by a therapist to help mental wellness while you play without you knowing it. Ooh, that's fun. I like that. That sounds neat. Yeah, I played a little D&D yesterday. My crew, there was I had technical problems, and then a couple friends of mine had suddenly got busy and had to take off, so we didn't get to play as long as we normally do, but I still have a good time playing D&D, fucking around with friends. Lord Crashington did finish One Piece on Netflix, which ends very well with the setup, the crew going to the Grand Line, and some of the faces they'll see whenever they get to work on Season 2. Cool. Again, don't have Netflix right now. No particular interest in checking that out. At some day I will watch it. Dirty says playing Starfield slowly but surely. Hit up Olive Garden today for the first time in 5 years. Hey, sometimes you just want that kind of food, and I get you. Sometimes you want to be family, and you just got to go to the Olive Garden. I fucking get it. I get it. It's your game. The console commands are there. No shame using them. Hell yeah. I never feel shame about using console commands or mods that break the game. Break so you can't play. No, break the immersion. Sure, whatever. Encumbrance. I don't give a fuck about that. Never have encumbrance. The new season of Star Trek Lower Deck started this week. Pretty good so far. Hell yeah. Glad you're enjoying that, Harold. Silver Streak says, I strongly recommend you do the main storyline until you get the quest Into the Unknown, and then doing that quest. I won't give context why. And the map sucks. Yep, totally. Lord Crashington says, 20 hours in the Starfield has been fine. Had to dock with an abandoned star dock that took me a while to figure out what to do because it never told me how to dock with anything. It hasn't. Arthur Geese has been putting up some videos. Check out Arthur Geese. I don't know if Arthur explains how to do that, but Arthur has explained how to do a bunch of things that have been very helpful. Arthur has been a good resource. Also, the AI companions are just dumb, and Sarah's getting on my bad side when she judges me for being over encumbered. Yeah, I don't particularly care about my companions yet. I'm gonna find a good one. There's gonna be a good one. One of these companions is gonna be kick-ass. Is it Frozen themed? I've been watching One Piece again here and there. Surprised the amount of effort they put into animating Luffy punching out a celestial dragon. Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. That's wild. That's a good. Uh, yeah, Lashbrook. That's the good shit. When they just like all of a sudden they're like, oh, where did they find the budget for this shit? And they just go for it. Oh, that's the good. That's the good One Piece stuff. Um, Ursafan played the demo for Chance of Sanar, a language-based puzzle game. Oh, okay. It's pretty fun, and I'll probably pick it up sometime. I've also been playing Saints Row on my PlayStation for some dumb fun. Totally. Dirty got a real nice pistol level 4 that one-shotted mobs up through level 15. I'm still using it 31. Yep. Hey, sometimes you just find a weapon, and you're like, well, I could probably put a scope on this, and then this is just going to be what I do. And it's like, totally reasonable. I love that the base for the unicorn is a rainbow. That's very good. That's very good. Gonna have your first slice of pumpkin pie for fall. Yeah, I guess it's fucking fall. This is summer September as far as I'm concerned. I have met one recently that's pretty rad companion-wise. Okay, for Starfield. They're probably staying with me until the rest of the game unless there's a surprise great one later on. Nice. I'm glad you found someone that you want to stick with. Yeah, like what I need is somebody who, when I help people, is happy that I helped people, right? That if I'm doing these things and helping people out, that they're like, great job. You're awesome for that. And then when like space pirates show up and start shooting at me, they're like, hell yeah, take these guys out. Oh, wow, we snuck up on them and took them out. We're awesome. I just need a companion that is down to take out people and is psyched when I am helping folks. And if I am helping folks by taking down people, they're also on board. That's all I need. I don't need them to be like morally gray. I don't need to be like whatever. I just need them to be like, hey, hell yeah. Oh, they're messing with us? Okay. Like, that's all I really need. Like Piper. I need Piper from Fallout 4. Because Piper's just like, oh, fuck, get these fuckers. Let's get these fuckers. You know? Veronica from New Vegas. Veronica's just like, oh, these fiends? Hell no. No. They're gonna kill us. Let's kill them. Like, that's all I need. I've done a lot of hard saves in Starfield, then tried to see who I can kill before reloading the hard save. Your parents are invincible and many others are not. Yeah, good. I wouldn't have found that out. I never try. I have accidentally done some stuff that I'm not proud of in games, in those types of games. Not Starfield, I don't think I've made a mistake where I'm like, fuck, that I didn't need to shoot that thing. I think I've been pretty good, but I might not have been. I don't know. More on Starfield soon because it's the game I'm playing a lot. But we are going to stop here. We got a little bit done on the unicorn. We got the stand done, and we got a little bit of this unicorn built. We'll do the rest of it on Monday, and then when that's done, it'll be time to build something else. We're going to use most of these parts to build our unicorn. But right now, I'm just going to move all that stuff off. The crafting stuff is kind of impenetrable for me so far. Yeah, it's just a lot. There's just a lot there. Yeah, I went down and like tooled around, but I still haven't figured out everything I need to do. But we're going to wrap up the stream, everybody. We'll talk more about Starfield. At some point, we'll probably talk about Starfield during like the first hour of the stream instead of the second hour so we can really like dig into stuff. I don't know if it's going to be Monday or Thursday, but we will do a deeper dive into Starfield because that is the game I'm playing most of anything. But right now we're gonna stop talking about that, and instead I'm gonna wrap up the stream. We are gonna raid. That is how we end every stream. We're gonna find somebody doing cool shit and hang out with them. So let's see. We did not have, which is awesome, but we did not have any disconnects tonight, which is way better than Thursday's stream. So that rules. So let's see who is streaming, and we'll go hang out with them. Hey, we mentioned him. Arthur Geese Aegis is playing Starfield. So we talked about Starfield. We talked about Arthur, who's made very fun little videos here and there. So let's go raid Arthur. Arthur's great. So feel free to come along on this raid. FYI, Arthur is deep in spoiler territory. You know what? Then let's not raid Arthur. If Arthur's in spoiler territory, I like Arthur a lot, but we don't need that on our... We don't need that. We don't need it. Instead, let's switch gears. A very different kind of game. Because we have not raided Witchy TQ in quite some time. So we're going to go raid TQ. My internet friend TQ. TQ is lovely. So we're going to go give her a raid. She is playing a game. I believe it is still in early access, or it's in beta, I believe. Yes, Palia. She is a partner with Palia. So we're going to go check that out. It's like an MMO, but like it's like a really cute, like Animal Crossing MMO, I guess I would say. I don't know. It seems very neat, and we're going to go check in with her. Thanks for coming on this raid. I hope to see you soon. Hope to check it out on Monday. Yeah, Polly looks very cool. I'll see you in the future. Stardew and AC. Okay, yeah, that's a good description. Talk to y'all later. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.